on this. There we go. Here we go. We are going to dive straight in today. I am so honored to be here. I am so honored to be here and be part of this experience with the women who sit beside me in this space and the creators and the authors. For those of you who don't know me yet, my name is Jaclyn Shaw. I I have been on a journey, and we're going to dive into this journey today from victim to goddess. My journey, my rise from victim to goddess, my book is about reclaiming ancient wisdom and tapping into divine remembrance of who you are and who we all are. I believe that as women, sharing our stories is what connects us. It's our holy work to speak truth and to be the fullest expression of who we are. Like each and every one of us, I truly believe that this is our mission. And I know that it creates liberation and freedom when each of us becomes willing to tap into this divine remembrance of who we are, when we become willing and brave enough to speak our truth into the world. I have an interesting story. I have an interesting story in bringing this book to the world. And it's a story where I was told by a man, by a well-known author and spiritual teacher, that my book, my story, my lived experience is too shameful to share in print for the world to read. My book is a very deeply spiritual, personal memoir. And while I'm not going to share the full story of this here because this would take our whole time and space, I do have a behind the book Telegram group where I'm sharing all the behind the scene moments of writing my book, this publishing process, the marketing, the PR journey, all the fun stuff, the stories, the journey that I went on in processing being told that my book was too shameful. It's a free space. I'm going to drop the link here for you to join at the end if you want to go deeper in this story. But the one piece I'm going to share here today in the context of what we're here talking about, the rise from victim to goddess, is that instead of backing down, instead of diluting my voice, I added this story, I added this experience to the book. I could have sat in victimhood. I could have thought, poor me, after promises were broken and things were, taken away from me, but I didn't. I chose to rise as the goddess. And I know that within each experience of your life, the ones that are painful, the ones that feel too shameful, the ones that feel like they're coming, like waves coming crashing down on you, the ones where you feel like you want to throw in the towel, the ones where you feel very strongly like, but I am a victim here and you don't know and God doesn't know. So how can you tell me that I'm not the victim? We always, within each experience of our life, have the opportunity to rise in our power and choose to rise as the goddess that we are. Feel this goddess energy within you. You are the goddess. You are the one. Truth burns as your eternal flame. And when you become so willing to be the truth of who you are, to speak the truth of who you are, to not back down, to not let outside circumstances define you, to not let outside circumstances, outside people dictate who you are, what you offer to this world, this is where you become the most powerful version of self. And when we choose to rise as the goddess that we are, we choose to use our experiences as a source of liberation. And I truly feel it's a source of liberation for all of us when we come together as women and share these experiences and share these stories. This is what I mean when I say this is our holy work. I had a very clear defining moment, which I do describe in the book, of when I knew I was going to write this book and when I knew this experience was not just for me, but was also for you, was also for the wisdom that I was able to extract from the experience and bring forth. And so while I've been told it's too shameful, it's too this and that, the wisdom exists because the story exists. And so it's not an experience that I can wish away. It's in fact an experience that at the human level, of course, I wish didn't happen in my life. But at a soul level, I know. I know that this was in service of my soul's agenda, that this, in some weird way, was actually an answer to my prayer, a calling that I had to tap into divine remembrance. And I believe that this is a calling that we all have. So here's how we're going to flow today. I am going to read you the author's note. We are going to, what are we going to do? First, I'm going to read you the author's note. Then I'm going to read you a segment on rising from victim to goddess. We'll see where we go from here. This may lead into an impromptu riff, but we're going to complete with an activation where you will deeply receive. I'm so honored that you're here. This journey with Sabrina has been incredible. We just finished recording my audiobook. So we have been spending the last week recording my audiobook. You're getting me. Let's just back out for a second here. You're getting me at a very expansive moment in my life. My book is being released officially on October 14th of this year. We just recorded the audiobook. I am right now in a new home that this is my first call. This is actually my first call in this new home. And there's a whole story and a whole journey behind this that was like anchoring in and following my intuition and trust and faith and trust fall with God, like leap of faith moments, all things that I talk about in the book. So the fact that we're here and in this space and having this conversation today is truly extraordinary. The title of my book is called Spiritual Smackdown from Victim to Goddess. And the tagline is when God spoke, everything changed. So we're going to dive in. If you feel a resonance with my words, I can't wait for you to get your hands on it and read it. Sabrina has just dropped into the chat here the link that you can come in and join me in this free Telegram space where I'm sharing more, like I said, of the behind the scenes. I'm sharing things about, launch parties, the release. There's going to be giveaways. I'm going to share more excerpts there. There's so much you can already tap into there. But for now, let's tap in right here. So we're going to start with the author's note. Let me see if I can pull it up here. This is the beginning. Bringing this book to the world and sharing my story in this way has been filled with deep spiritual initiations. I've been called to go deeper in my truth and deeper out in my truth, in ways that could have broken me, in ways that could have caused me to shut down, to hide. It has required me to stand in my power and stand in conviction of my voice when it would have been easier to stay small and quiet. I've walked away from some very enticing publishing opportunities in order to keep the integrity of this story and my words. I was encouraged to leave parts of the story out, the parts that are too shameful to be written in print for the world to read. I was encouraged to dilute my voice, to dull down certain parts, and to erase certain parts completely. I refused to do so because I deeply believe speaking the truth about our lives is medicine. Our truth has the power to transform everything in ways seen and unseen. This has been a journey of trusting in myself over anything and anyone else. I understand many who read this book will have judgments about myself, my husband, and my family. I understand there will be those who feel I'm a disgrace to womanhood, something I was told when I first shared parts of this experience on a podcast, a doormat, a poor role model. Yes, I understand there will be people who agree that this is a shameful experience that I should have kept to myself. But who does that help if I keep it to myself? Who does that serve if I let fear and other people's judgments stop me? No one. It definitely doesn't serve me or you or the collective. If I allow the frequency of shame to live on by hiding my story and therefore diluting the experience for you as the reader, I am who I am because of the experiences of my life, because of the wisdom delivered in the moments of my life. I'm not meant to hide it, not any of it, and neither are you. And so no, I decided not to shut down any part of my voice because that would be a betrayal of my soul. a betrayal of who I am. And truth is the only form of currency I'm interested in. My desire is for every single person who reads this to come home to themselves, to return to the love within them, to connect with their divinity, their truth, to harness their personal power, to trust in the sacred wisdom that lives within them. Through my words, I pray you find a resonance in your soul. My truth doesn't need to be your truth. My belief codes don't need to match yours. Multiple truths can coexist. Through my words, I want you to find the way to your truth with unapologetic acceptance, unwavering conviction, and deep remembrance of who you are. You didn't come here to be a perfect human being. You came here to have a human experience. You came here to grow and evolve at a soul level. You came here to remember you are both human and divine. You came here to experience being heaven in human form. Remember that. Remember that you get to choose, and there is always the choice to rise from victim to goddess. This is the essence. 11:11, when we got started, of course. Sabrina, am I allowed to give a little? I'm like, doop, 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 doop. Here's a little glimpse of the book. I am going to read this next part directly from the book. I don't want to read it on the screen. I'm going to hold the book here and read the book here. Sabrina says yes. I'm like, I don't really feel like I need to ask for permission, but you know, we'll see. We'll see if at the end I fully share. Okay, this is the part. This is the victim to goddess energy in this part. So there's many different parts in the book where I talk about victimhood energy and the rise of the goddess. And I really wrote this book, I mean, I'm going to say in a way that I feel like is a divine masterpiece. I very much, well, hold on. We're just going to go into a bit of the story, actually. I wrote this book in a unique way. I did not write this book chapter by chapter, start to finish. I didn't write the story first. In fact, what I did was sat out in the woods, kind of like this, but at a different house. I sat out in the woods of my house and I channeled words and I wrote the wisdom pieces first. So this is a memoir and it really zooms into the story, the lived wisdom, and zooms out into these deep wisdom, spiritual concept pieces. And I wrote the wisdom first, and then I brought in the story. And so reading the book definitely feels like this dance of like zooming into my life and zooming out to the sacred wisdom. And it really plays in this way. So there's many, many parts where I've talked about villain and victim energy. I've read some excerpts of the book before, not many places, but in a community that I lead, in the behind the scenes, behind the book Telegram, I've read bits. This part I've never shared before. This part, this is the first time sharing it here. The only people who have seen this part is the team, the publishing team here, my mom, my sisters. And so this is the first time sharing this part, and this is near the end of the book. You're getting a real glimpse here. So here we go. The chapter is titled Too Far Gone. We are never too far gone. We are never in a place or a state of being where love can't reach us, where God can't reach us. For we are love, and God resides within us. God is not an almighty power you need to seek to find outside of you. Seek and you shall find means seek within. Within you find love. Within you find God. From the seat of the victim, it would have been easy for me to believe Craig was too far gone. It would have given me validation. It would have given me permission to respond in rage, to walk away from that which I knew to be true. It would have given me permission to paint him as the bad guy and to make choices for me and my kids within this narrative that would have been chosen in hatred, not love. Can you see how this narrative would have greatly impacted what came next? It would have closed down the invitation for Craig to choose to heal within our family. It would have pushed him further out, further away from the remembrance of who he is. And ultimately, I believe it would have led to a place of taking zero self-responsibility whatsoever. This is what the victim-villain scenario provides us. If I am the victim, I do not have to take personal responsibility for anything. Poor me. If I am the villain, I get to say, it's just who I am. But when I'm neither the victim nor the villain, this is where I get to take radical responsibility for what comes next, for what I create in response to life, for what I create with my thoughts, my words, my actions, and my reactions. If I am not the villain or the victim, then who am I? I am who I am. I am truth. And within this truth, I become willing to see the illusions I've bought into. The illusion of victimhood, the illusion of fear, the illusion of sacrifice. If it's all an illusion, then what? Then we become willing to see that it's all designed to be transcended. Fear that you won't have enough, that you aren't enough, that you aren't worthy or deserving enough. These are all illusions. Nothing makes you worthy or deserving. You are worthy simply because you are. As humans, we love to complicate almost everything, especially our worthiness and our enoughness. We create all sorts of wild formulas in regard to what we need to do in order to receive. We don't allow for it to be simple. Ask and it shall be given. Knock and the door will open. We tell ourselves, no, that can't be true. It can't be that simple. Why don't we want to believe it can be this easy? Because it would highlight many things within our human experience that we have been ignoring for centuries. It would show us that things don't have to be the way they've always been, the way we've always experienced them to be. That life doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be a struggle. It doesn't have to be based on sacrifice and compromise. This is how we create a new way forward, by deciding things don't need to be experienced the way they've been experienced before. This is what creates true liberation. It creates ultimate freedom for who we are individually and collectively as creators. All we have to do is take radical responsibility for that which we create. But that right there is often what limits us from taking radical responsibility as the creators of life itself. Understanding that all exists because you exist, because you have created it. It can feel safer to not know this. It can feel more comfortable, that's for sure. Because what happens when we understand this and look back in hindsight is that we see that we never had to suffer. We never had to take the long road or the hard road. We never had to sacrifice. We never had to choose one or the other. These can be some hard truths to face as we move deeper into this, deeper spiritual awareness. It's all an illusion. If it's all an illusion, then our suffering, our sacrifice, our uphill battle no longer feel worth it. They're not validated. So you see, it can serve us to not know, to not remember, to not see. It can serve us to protect our human self from these truths because it allows us to remain living within the illusory world. But you know, as you read this, or as you listen right now, you know, as you read this, it does not truly serve you in any way, shape, or form, not at a soul level. Your non-remembrance only serves you if you choose to remain in the illusion of ignorance. Ignorance, shame, guilt, and regret are feelings that may come up for you as you go deeper in your remembrance. This is where I invite you to remember that you did not know what you know now. You are not who you were then. You are not in the state of awareness that you are in this very moment. You are here on a journey of the growth and evolution of your soul. You are not the same person you were 5 seconds ago, 5 minutes ago, 5 weeks ago, 5 months ago, 5 years ago. Within each new moment of remembrance, the energetic composition shifts. There is no shame in the fact that there are things you've forgotten on this journey. You've simply forgotten so that you can remember and so that you can deepen in your remembrance. Celebrate that. Celebrate that the forgetting has led you here, has led you in remembrance. Remembrance of who you are and why you're here. Remembrance that you are the creator. You are the one. You and God are one. Your wants and God's wants are the same. There is nothing that you could want that God does not want for you. God is not here to limit you, to judge you, to have you sacrifice for him. God is here to experience life moving through you, love moving through you, truth moving through you. So go out and live, experience life, love from the depth of your soul. Don't attach your love to anything. Give love freely, receive love freely, stand in your truth, speak your truth, move in alignment from the truth within you. You are here to be the fullest expression of all that you are. Go out into the world and show off. Show us your magnificence and your uniqueness. Share your medicine, your voice, and your sacred wisdom with us. The world needs all of you, all of me, all of us. That is one chapter. That is chapter 58 of 84. Is 84 where we landed? Let's see here. 80. Short chapters, wisdom, storytelling. Tears already. I cannot wait for October. You're fucking magical. Thank you. I'm receiving this. We're going to go a little rogue here. We're going to complete with the activation. I'm just going to tell you this experience. As I shared, I wrote most of this out of the woods. The wisdom pieces I wrote out in the woods, and I hand wrote everything. And then I sat in the jungle. I live part-time in Costa Rica. I sat in the jungle and wrote the story and put this book together. Reading right now, I'm so happy I read this in my hands, with the book in my hands, not from the screen. I never thought of myself as a writer. I never thought of myself as a speaker. In fact, I thought of myself as the exact opposite. I'm not a writer. I don't know how to write. I don't have the words. But then I started writing. I decided that my voice mattered. My story matters. My life matters. The experiences I've had in my life and the lived wisdom from within these experiences matters. I decided that, and then I wrote the book. I decided that, and then I'm showing up here. I didn't wait for the evidence. I didn't wait to know that somebody was going to tell me they can't wait for my fucking book. I did it first for me, to be the fullest expression of who I am. And my invitation for you here today, you were invited into this space to tune in to the heart, the art of creators. And you may be a writer, you may be an author, you may be a photographer, you may have a podcast, you may show up on social media, you may lead in your family, in your life, but each of us has magic and wisdom and medicine to share. And so my invitation for you is to not wait to share it. Find ways to share it. Share it with your children, share it with your partner, share it with your best friend, share it on a social media stage, share it on YouTube, a podcast, write the fucking book. Whatever you feel called to do it. This took me, flash again. I'm giving a little more flash. This took me 9 years. It took me 8 years to write this book. This experience of my life was 9 years ago. And literally 9 years ago, we're probably right around this date. It was September of 2016 that I knew I was going to write this book. It took me a long time because it took me a long time to decide that I was a writer. It took me a long time to decide that my words were worthy of being put out in this world and worthy of being heard. And then, like I said, and then I was challenged with it. Then I was told, no, actually, don't share that. Don't share the story. Our stories matter. This is our holy work. Now, the part I said where I'm going to go rogue on you, too, I really felt the call as I was reading this. And I'm like, this is one wisdom piece. This is one chapter. We've shared the link for the free Telegram book space. I also have what I'm calling my memoir mastermind coming up. And I thought I was only going to share it with the women in that space, especially at the price it's at right now. And I'm also feeling called to share it with you here today too. I don't have a full sales page for it or the branding like there was, but if you've been following this journey with my book, or if you're here right now and you're feeling the soul resonance, this memoir mastermind is where I'm going to be leading for 4 months. For 4 months, we're going to dive in to this book, the teachings, the wisdom. This book is written in 4 different parts. And so 4 weeks for each part, totaling 16 weeks, where you're going to read the book. We're going to dive deep into the wisdom and the spiritual concepts here. This is, like I've said, this is like 9 years of wisdom, 9 years of life lived experiences. When I launch this publicly, the price will be $4,444 for women inside my Telegram space right now. They're getting their hands on it, and they are getting their hands on it for $444. If you want to come in with me, I'm going to extend this offer, this price to you here. The space is already feels like a masterpiece in the making. We'll start in November. So we'll go November through to the end of February, take a little break over Christmas and New Year's. Let yourself, let your soul guide you. This is a space about trust, truth, surrender, shifting from victim to goddess, harnessing in your personal power, taking radical responsibility. There's lessons in forgiveness, trust, faith beyond measure. And so with that, I'm going to thank you all for being here with me. I'm going to lead you in an activation right now. If you've never experienced an activation with me, this is a space for you to receive. I'm going to invite you to sit, to close your eyes. You're going to hear some music start playing shortly here, and we're going to complete in this energy. And so as we come complete in this energy, I'll quietly say goodbye. But we'll be here for the next 15 or 20 minutes or so. So inviting you right here, as you hear this music, to close your eyes, to connect with your breath. Close your eyes, connect with your breath, connect with my voice. Let yourself fully land here. And actually, Sabrina, can we cut the music? We're going to go no music for this one today. So I want you to connect with you and the frequency of you, to not be distracted by any outside noise. You'll hear my voice guiding you, but this is a journey in connection with self. An invitation to connect with a higher power, not outside of you, but within you. The God within, the divine within, the universe within. Dropping out of your mind, into your body, into your being. How deeply, how quickly can you drop into soul knowing, soul truth, where divine remembrance lives? It happens in an instant. It happens with intention. It happens with one breath. Breathe here. Breathe here in the frequency of allowance. Allowing yourself to receive. Opening up to the vastness of the universe within you. Connecting with your source of truth. connecting with your soul essence, connecting to the divine, the divinity within you, the divine wisdom you already hold, you already carry. Whether you have the words to express it right now or not doesn't matter. The wisdom exists because you exist, because you carry divine codes within you, because at a soul level, you know who you truly are. No human experience gets to take that away from you. You are the one. You are a divine creator. You are a child of God, a child of the universe, a child of nature. Truth burns within you. The truth of who you are, the truth of who we all are. You know at a soul level that you are love. You know at a soul level that you are truth. You know at a soul level that you are abundance. You know at a soul level that you were born worthy and nothing has changed. You're worthy because you are. You're deserving because you are. There's nothing that you need to do in order to be worthy. You are worthy as you are in this very moment. Worthy of all of it. Worthy of the connection to God. Worthy of the truth. Worthy of love. Worthy for the words to be activated within you. Breathe here for a few moments. We'll sit in stillness and silence. Let the frequency shift within you without you doing, from a state of receiving in trust, in faith, in connection to the soul remembrance of who you are, inviting God to God from within you. Notice if this is starting to feel uncomfortable for you. You want me to fill the silence. You're finding it hard to sit with self. Notice if you want to open your eye to take a look to see if we're still here, to see if you're doing it right. Notice if doubt's creeping in. And let it go. Release whatever story you're telling yourself and allow yourself to drop deeper in, knowing that you've got you. God's got you. You can't possibly fuck it up or do it the wrong way. There is no right and wrong. And we'll receive in the silence for a few more moments. Don't try to control this experience. Allow whatever wants to come forward to come forward. There may be moments, memories, words where you feel like a victim coming forward, ready to be released. There may be emotions coming forward. Allow it all. Don't resist. Don't create the limitation in your energy field. Connect with your voice, surrendering in a state of receiving from the God within you, trusting in all that is. You matter. Your stories matter. Your life matters. Your experiences matter. Your lived wisdom matters. Divinity runs through you. You are heaven in human form. You are right now, in this moment, the goddess. Life is meant to happen. Life happens. And within this experience, this human experience of life, you will experience it all. What happens if you don't try to resist? Allowing yourself to experience the pain, the heartbreak, the sadness, the anger. None of it was ever meant to be avoided. When we avoid, when we make these experiences mean something about who we are, this is where we often get caught in the loop of being the victim. Within each experience where we could choose the victim, we also get to choose our own rising. We get to choose our own liberation. And this is what creates ultimate freedom. Freedom that goes beyond time freedom, location freedom. This is freedom at your core, freedom at the source, freedom in who you are. Soul level freedom, freedom to be, freedom to do, freedom to choose. I am because I am. You are because you are. Feel the resonance, feel these words, let them activate your energy field. I am because I am, with nothing added, with nothing taken away. in this very moment, in connection right here, right now. Who do you know yourself to be? Feel the truth of who you are. Experience the truth of who you are. I am because I am because I am. I know because I know because I know. I am all that is. All exists because I exist. I am love. I am the one. I am the goddess. I am the truth. And I choose to remember in this very moment, bringing forward with powerful intention, choosing to remember who you are at a soul level, as a divine being, as a creator, as a truth teller and truth seeker. Can you be brave enough, bold enough, and willing to claim this, to own this, to reclaim all the parts of you that you've judged before, that you've shamed before? It's all part of your being, all part of what brought you here to this day in this moment. Own who you are. See the beauty in all of it, even in the messy moments, even in the chaos, even in the moments where you've placed yourself and judged yourself as the villain or the victim. You are a human and you are divine. You chose to come here for the full human experience. Embrace it. Embrace all of it. Embrace all of you. Here in this moment, claiming, choosing, being all of who you are, standing in your power, in truth, in conviction of self. Bringing forward your sacred yes, saying the words in your head or out loud. Yes, I choose. Yes, I am. Activating the frequency that's shifted here today. Activating your power, activating your knowing, activating these codes within you. Your sacred yes creates the activation, not me, not my words. Your willingness to move from this place to bring forward that yes from the depth of your being, the depth of your soul. And as you bring forward that sacred yes, starting to bring your awareness back to the surface, back into this space, opening your eyes, continuing to breathe, moving your fingers and your toes. Welcome back here. Thank you so much for being here with me. As always, it is such a deep, deep honor. Thank you to Sabrina and FemPower Publishing for not only like the gift you've been in my world and this journey of bringing my manuscript to life, but for all what you're doing here for all of us for this day. I'm so excited that you have so much more to tap into with the other authors and the other speakers here. And thank you. Come join me in my free Telegram space. Come join me in the Memoir Mastermind. I can't wait to see you wherever our paths cross next.